Hello and welcome back to another lesson. The previous lesson we talked about how we can change array elements using one of the array method, which is push method, in order to be able to add items to the end of your array, and also how we can use the index of our array elements in order to be able to change their value, which was one of the way through which we were able to show how the element of a const, of constant in JavaScript works. So in this lesson, we will be taking a look at another way through which the elements of a const in JavaScript can change. And we're going to be looking at objects, like an array that is just a collection of items. Object, on the other hand, is it's a collection of key value pairs item, which means that, for example, let's say you have a car. A car will have a model, can have a brand, it can have a color, it can have engine number, and so many other properties like that. That's what is related to the key value pair. So when you talked about type, it will have a name. You talked about model, it will have a model. You talk about brand, and so on and so forth. So here with me, I have uh, something I put on this slide, that you can change the properties of a constant object. And then I cited an example that you can create a constant object. For example, let me just quickly create an object in my editor so that I'll just see what it means. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll clear this. And now I want to make an object, const cards. Okay, model. Sorry, model 500. Color is red. And then let's do year of the car to be 2025. You can see that I've declared an object. So let me try and then, console log.this and see what I'll get in my console cars. Now let's take a look. You can see that in my console, I'm getting the color, which is red, which means this is the key, the color, and the value is red. This is the key, this is the value, this is the key, this is the value. So if I have more properties than what I'm currently having here, so this is how I can continue to add them to objects. So in JavaScript, and you can see that I have declared this object. I've declared this object variable in my code. Now, if you take a look at this slide, it now says you can change a property. Just like we were able to change the property of an array element, you can as well change the property of an object if you declare it with const in JavaScript. So, but in JavaScript, in objects, the way you interact with the element of your object is different from the way you interact with the element of your array. In array, you notice that we are using something like a square bracket in order to be able to access the index of each item in the array. But in object, we are going to be making use of something called dot notation in order to be able to work with the property and manipulate the elements of the object. So I want to change the color, and the way you change the color is by calling the names cars.color. I want to change the value to white. Now, if you look at the console, you will see that the color has changed from red, that is in the original declaration, to white. So if I want to change here, I can do so many things. And I'll say, okay, 2000. Now take a look, you see that the year as well has changed. So this is how you can work with the elements of your object. Then you can add a property. So we can as well add a property and say something like, okay, car.owner. equals to lesson. Now, if you take a look at it, you can see that I now have 4 items in my object, which is the same way I use, catch.push, a method to add to the end of my array in the previous lesson. So you can add to your object too using this method in order to be able to add whatever it is you want to add to your object. And what I just did there is basically by, creating, this is the key. Sorry, I'm using the object, and then I'm using this key that I wanted to add to it, and I gave it a value, and it automatically appends it to the end of my object. So this is how you work with the elements of objects. This is how you manipulate and interact with them. Thank you for your time. I'll see you